Hey, so I'm really excited to do this video on gender pronouns, preferred gender pronouns. I just want to start off by saying immediately that I'm way too tired to give an English lesson. So I'm just going to hope that everybody knows what pronouns are, and then I can explain that preferred gender pronouns are the gender pronoun that you would like to be referred as. So for me, I personally want to be referred to with masculine pronouns, he, him, his. So the reason why I want to talk about pronouns, other than the fact that it's extremely important, is because I've watched a lot of people throughout the beginning of my transition having a hard time switching pronouns. So I wanted to address that in general and then go into why pronouns are really important and a little bit more about them. So just in general, I want to say thank you so much to everybody, whether you know me well or not, for making an effort to really try and use the right PGPs for me. PGP stands for preferred gender pronoun. The reason why it means so much to me that you're trying, regardless of whether you accidentally make a mistake or not, is because every time that you refer to me as he, it's validating. It's like reaffirming who I really am and who I'm trying to be, the man that I'm trying to become, and it just makes me feel good. It honestly makes me smile. It's possibly one of the greatest ways that you can be an ally, at least for me, but I'm confident that a lot of trans people will say that, by respecting their pronouns, you're validating them, making them feel just that much more complete. So I really want to say thank you so much. It really means so much to me that you're making an effort. I understand that it's really hard. I know even for me, with other friends who've come out as trans, it's really hard to make that switch. But with a conscious mind, you can certainly do it within time. I didn't expect anybody to be able to do this overnight. It even took time for me to get adjusted. And it's me. So I obviously wasn't expecting total perfection, but it really means a lot that you're trying. So thank you. In terms of how to handle it if you make a mistake with me, I'd prefer that you don't stress out. I don't want this to be like an extra stressor for you. It's just something that's going to take time. So, don't freak out if you get it wrong, and don't, try not to get offended if I, stop you mid-sentence because you're, using the wrong pronouns, or I overhear you using the pronouns and correct you. As long as you're not doing it on purpose and making an effort, it's not that I'm mad, it's just that I'm trying to help make the change, and if I just don't say anything, then it hurts me, and it ends up hurting you in the long run, and that's not really a good idea. So, just correcting it is great. If you want to be like, oh, I'm sorry, some people are just so apologetic. I really appreciate that. It hurts you to the core when you don't get my pronouns right, but it really doesn't need to be made a big thing. In fact, it's better if it's not, because, then it allows me to sort of feel like it's a normal flow, part of my life and my day. But again, thank you. So more about pronouns. So, as I was saying, for me, when I'm referred to with the correct pronouns, it makes me just feel awesome. And so, I want to talk about why it's so important to respect people's pronouns. To start, I know that, in society, we sort of we say, okay, this person looks like male and masculine, and so we will refer to them with what we've been taught growing up as, masculine male pronouns, he, him, his, same swap with women, her and she and hers. You can't tell somebody's PGP by looking at them, necessarily. You might be right on a guess, but you could also be wrong. So the best thing that you can do if you meet somebody, especially if you're going to be, meeting them again and again, communicating with them, is to try and respectfully ask them how they would like to be referred as, so that way you don't make that mistake. And what that does is it's showing the ultimate respect, because you care about their gender identity and respecting them and referring to them the way they would like to be referred. And, that allows them, as I said, to not feel, disrespected, invalidated, alienated, dysphoric. I mean, really a lot goes through a person's mind when they have to consciously think about gender. I know that for me personally, I get, it's definitely getting harder and harder to be misgendered. For me, I get the most annoyed actually when I'm at doctor's offices, or if I get phone calls, when I have to deal with insurance and stuff. They're always, because they see the, there's the legal way it's written on my medical form, so they just automatically assume, which is a fair assumption, I guess. I can see where they're coming from, but it's when you're on a phone call, for example, for insurance, they will use your gender 1,000 times within that conversation, depending on how long you're on the phone with them. So when they're calling me ma'am literally every other sentence, it is incredibly frustrating and irritating. So really, what's going through my mind at that point is that initially that I'm just really frustrated, but then I sort of have this whole, self-check, not in terms of doubt, obviously, but in terms of, it just becomes really apparent that what they're referring to me as is uncomfortable to me. It just makes me uncomfortable, it makes me sad, it makes me think about my gender and my dysphoria, and it just sort of brings a lot of awareness to a lot of negative emotions. So, moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about what other pronouns are. I know that we talked about, excuse me, we talked about, he and she, and these are typical pronouns, but there are plenty of other pronouns that are used. For example, E and A and M and ear and ears, and those are gender-neutral pronouns. Other gender-neutral pronouns that are more common, I was referring to gender-neutral pronouns for a period of time before I came out fully, and I liked, they, them, theirs. Others use Z, Zim, Zir. I mean, there's just many other options out there, so that way everybody can try and find something that is comfortable for them, just because, unfortunately, gender pronouns are, really unavoidable in the English language, especially. Everything is gendered, so, basically, that's sort of what I just wanted to say. I just wanted to talk a little bit about pronouns because they're really important. So if you have any other questions, or you want me to clarify something that I said, or you would like me to send you information to help you understand even more about gender pronouns, leave me a comment below. Alright, have a good night.